because I had been in one place for so long. So you reach a certain point in your career where you think, all right, I'm probably not leaving this team. I did do national work, but my base was always the Carolina Hurricanes, and when that broke up, and that agreement broke up, the first time in my career I ever faced an undecided situation personally. So it was with excitement, but I was also very anxious about coming to a new place at this stage of my life and career and starting over again. Coming to a place where not a lot of people knew who I was or what I was about. Maybe some did, not very many. But I knew that I had done it before. I brought a team to Virgin Territory in terms of my role and how to do it. So I just needed to replicate that. But as soon as I got here, there was something about Seattle, honestly, that felt very right, felt like the right place for us as a family, for me. So the beginning was easy, and then as we got into it, I felt welcomed by the fans, so then I could easily do my job. I want to bring passion to a game that I love, so that they love it. Because if I don't have a ton of passion, how can they get excited? So my whole professional life has been dedicated to hockey, and long before I became a pro at this, I was already dedicated to hockey, dedicated to broadcasting hockey someday. I got there, luckily, and now I feel that that's my role. My role is also to tell them the truth about what's really happening with their team. So they understand when they put on the game, they're going to get informed. It's going to be concise enough so they can understand what we're talking about. And we're going to be extremely entertaining and educating on the fly, much like the game. The game is the fastest game in the world, played at a breakneck speed with free substitution. There are not a lot of holes within a telecast to educate, but we do have to. So we take time to do that, and I'm open to hearing from fans through social media about questions about the game, and I answer those. But we also have a part of the fan base in most markets that is already in tune with hockey, and you don't want to alienate those people either. So you can't just do a Hockey 101 every night. This is how the game is played, these are the terms. You know, I think people, when they watch and listen, if they want to research what happens, they can. We're in a different world that way, which is good. But also, we can pick our spots when it comes to that. But deliver a gold standard broadcast so that hockey fans who are already there really love it. I love interacting with the fans. I embrace social media. It's a different type of world now than it was when I started, obviously, because of the criticism that you're open to, which is valid. I mean, we're on display every night. The games can be consumed all over the world. It's not necessarily going to one market, even in local television. Nationally, obviously, that's a different world too. So when you're accepted by fans in foreign markets with other teams, other places, that's a compliment. But they'll take shots at you too, and I don't mind that. You know, if they're irresponsible, I'll kick back. But for the most part, it's been good. But it's a different world. But I do pay attention to that, and I pay attention to what they're saying, because that's the pulse of our fan base, and I don't want to lose that. Well, I'm 2 or 3 games ahead of where I'm at in the present, and it's a daily situation for me to keep track of. It's a continuum of preparation, of recapping all the games in the league, specifically prepping for the opponent I see next, or the 2 opponents if it's a nationally televised game, and watching hockey every single night, which is easier on the West Coast. It's a great thing on the West Coast, but that's how you stay in tune with exactly what's happening daily, because as soon as you let that go, you miss something. That would drive me up the wall. When there's 16 games played in the league, it takes me 3 hours to go through every game that's played the night before. That's the first thing I do in the morning, then I get to my game prep. So on a game day, roughly 4.5 to 5 hours of preparation, which usually includes morning skates, but that's on top of the preparation. And then I'm usually done early in the afternoon so I can relax when I get to the rink early and get ready to do the game. My system for each team, color-coded, line combinations, point streaks, a numerical roster with no names, because it's just memorized, heights, weights, draft, how they were acquired, and so on, personal notes, hometowns, ages, statistics, team notes, That's the notebook. And then the scorebook has the basics, power play numbers, the records, season series, 5-on-3s, 4-on-4s, that type of thing. So it's kind of archaic, but it works for me. And I, like most people, if you write something down, you remember it. That's why I do it. Because in our sport, there's no spotters like you have in football. There's, like I say, quick recognition on the fly. And most of the stuff, which is true in all broadcasting, 95 to 97% of it is thrown in the trash. You never use it. But you have to be prepared, because there's that one player or that one moment that affects one player that you might not even be thinking of. They become the focal point of the game. If you have a little more juice attached to that individual, it helps the broadcast immensely. I stand because I have a lot of energy. I can't sit still, and I feel the game better, and I can anticipate, because as a play caller in hockey, you have to anticipate in your mind before you say something what is actually going to happen. And trust me, I started in 1984. It was a heck of a lot slower than it is today. These kids move, they play the game faster. The rules have opened up the restrictions so they can really create more scoring chances based on skill. And plays happen out of nowhere, and you have to be ready for that. And I have a lot of fun, and I work with when Eddie and JT both sit when I stand, and because they're focused on the monitors and the replays, but they got to get out of my way too, because I move around a lot. It was May 10th, 1970 in Springfield, Massachusetts, and the Boston Bruins are playing the St. Louis Blues in the Stanley Cup Final, Game 4. Bobby Orr scored this memorable goal that's been captured in photographs and video of him flying through the air in overtime to seal a 4-game sweep.
Behind the net, the Sanderson, Orr! Bobby Orr!
And it was Dan Kelly, who was the voice of the NHL on CBS, who had the call that day. And I listened to it, and it's something, you know, tickled my fancy. It was something about it that it sparked an interest, so it became a hobby. And my parents gave me a tape recorder the following Christmas, and I started calling games off the television, working on the preparation you see today, a very similar thing I used to do with every game I did for fun. My dad did color, and that was kind of a bonding thing for the two of us, and I did that, you know, all the way through and into high school. So my friends kind of knew that I did this thing and encouraged me to go into it, but at first I didn't. When I went to college, I went for something else. I wanted to be a teacher, I wanted to be a coach, either in high school or college. And I took one course, and I had some advice from the person that taught the course. He was a news director at a local station. He told me to go for it, and I did in the minor leagues in 1984, and that was it. It was 40 years ago. My dad and I went to games every weekend. We had a minor league team in Springfield, and we bonded that way. That was our time together. And unfortunately, my dad passed away when I received my first paycheck in 1984. Suddenly, he died at a young age. And but he was with me, and still is today. But he was with me then on the way up, and I think that bond, along with a love for the game, I can't really explain it, but I had that.
It's down by Oleksiak. McCann, Eberle with a shot. He scores! Hey, hey, what do you say?
Hey, hey, what do you say is a tribute to my deceased dad. So he used to say, hey, hey, what do you say to everybody when he met them, on the ball field when he was a coach. So in the minor leagues, after he passed away, on a bus somewhere, I came up with, I'm going to use that to tag a goal. So then I took it a step further. When I feel the game's put away, and it's easy in overtime, but when I feel the game's put away, that's when I say that.
3-on-1, Stevenson, Bjorkstrand, he scores! That's hockey, baby!
So that's hockey, baby. I started maybe 10 years ago in North Carolina on Great Plays. That's Kraken hockey, baby, started here, obviously. But it started when I first got the job, because I would hashtag everything the Kraken did in terms of their community initiatives with That's Kraken Hockey. It's long before we had a team, long before we had a game, because I really feel that's part of what we do here. It's not just the team, but it's also what the Kraken mean within the community. That's Kraken Hockey. The That's Kraken Hockey, baby, is the tag for a win, which I came up with, and I figured I'm going to do this, so that's how we do that. But I use That's Hockey, baby on any terrific play. It's organic, so I never think of it beforehand. If it's a great play, it's coming out nationally or with the Kraken.
Cartier's shot, he scores! That's hockey, baby!